Hi guys, it's Anne here, and today's video is my 2020 favorites and fails. So these are my personal favorites and fails for 2020. They may not necessarily be new products in 2020, but they're new to me products. Basically how I do this is, as I use products throughout the year, there's certain products that I'm like, that's definitely going to be on the favorites list, and there's certain ones that are like, that's definitely going to be on the fails list. And then what I do is I look at my purchases for 2020. I sort of exclude anything that is like a repeat purchase or something I've tried before. And I just kind of go through the list, and as things jump out at me as like a favorite, like, yeah, that definitely like was really surprisingly good. Or if something jumps out at me as like, yeah, I really did not like that so much, it makes it on the list. So I try and not like I didn't do like a top 5 or top 10. I just kind of, it's a little bit arbitrary on the list. I think I have 12 favorites. I have, I think 11 fails. And then I have about 7 or 8 different products that I just want to talk about that are not really a favorite or fail. As Samantha March would say, they're kind of like a fine. They're just products that are like either popular or maybe I did a video on them and I feel like I should mention them and maybe say why they're not really a favorite and not really a fail. Gonna be a long video. I'm gonna try and go through it fairly quickly because most of these products I've probably gone in depth at some point before in another video. So you've probably heard me talk about them, but yeah, I just want to really talk about like the highlights. Don't really want to talk about the lowlights, but let's mention them because we got to talk about the fails too. And yeah, I hope you like this video. Going through the favorites, I'm going to go through some tool favorites. I'm going to talk about some skincare, hair care, and makeup. Interestingly enough, most of the makeup is eyeshadow or eye related. I think that's like a spoiler alert in terms of where I spent my money this year. There'll definitely be a video on that where I talk about like my full budget for this year. But yeah, I feel like I must have bought a lot of eyeshadow compared to other products because that's what we're going to talk about. So first we're going to talk about products, or tools first. The first product I want to talk about is this Juno & Co. sponge. Now, I'm sorry, it looks really gross, but I use this every day, so it's a little bit gross, but I am surprised at how much I liked this. I got this in my lucky bag this year, and I'm pretty sure I remember talking in that video being like, ugh, like this was kind of like the one product in there that I was definitely like, I'm not so sure about this. Like it just kind of felt weird. It's like a microfiber type sponge, like it feels very different. So I wanted to put a comparison here. This is the Beauty Blender. So they're both wet, just to show you size wise. They're fairly similar, but this one is so much softer. And I didn't realize how much I liked this until one of the days, like this was kind of really grody. And I was like, okay, I gotta, wash this and I'm gonna use a Beauty Blender. And I used the Beauty Blender and I was like, wow, it feels like I'm beating my face with a brick, essentially. And yeah, so it caught me by surprise. I was like, oh, how much I really, really like this. So this is shocking me because I have tried a number of different sponges and I've kind of always gone back to this because I feel like this is my go-to, like I've just preferred this. I'm gonna buy this again, I think. I mean, the hard part of this is I'm pretty sure the only place this is available for me is Beautylish, and I'm kind of kicking myself now because I did do a Beautylish order in the fall and I didn't put this in because I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if it's in the budget or not. There's also the really cute SpongeBob sponge that I kind of want to pick up. I don't know if it's still available or not. If it is, I think I might pick it up. But yeah, I definitely would consider repurchasing this sponge. Just caught me by surprise and that's why it's a favorite. Pretty sure it's more affordable than this as well. I'll have to look up the price. I'll put them on the screen. So yeah, that's why that's a favorite, because when I didn't have it, I missed it. The next favorites that I want to talk about are brushes. So the first one is from my Ipsy box. This is the Eddie Funkhauser domed blending brush, and I just really, really like the shape of this brush. So it's pretty, I like brushes that are pretty pointed. I don't like flat top brushes or ones that are really like wide splayed at the top. I find with a point like this at the top, this brush is like the perfect balance between precision and blending. Like I can't explain it other than like, and unless you've used a brush like this with this shape, you know what I mean. Like I feel like I can get into, I like it for like the crease and for like a darker crease color. I can go in with this, place the eyeshadow exactly where I want, and then like gently blend it out. Like it's surprisingly really good. And it was one of those things, again, I didn't realize how much I liked this until I realized, I was like, man, like I was kind of looking for this brush in my thing and I was like, yeah, I really like this brush. Like I pretty much use this every day. And so if this does come up, I know how Ipsy does, like add-ons and sales. If this comes up in like an add-on or like a choice, I definitely recommend picking this. I don't know how much these cost retail. Like some Ipsy things, it could be overpriced retail-wise, but if you can get it through Ipsy, or I know people like resell Ipsy things, I would definitely recommend this. This is the kind of brush that's like, I wish I had two. My number 3 favorite is, again, another brush, but it's a brush set, and this is the Units 200 brush set. I got this in my lucky bag this year, which was kind of funny because this brush, this is the 201 brush. I did buy the 201 brush separately in the fall from Beautylish, and then I got this kit, and I was kind of like, it's kind of disappointing because I already have this brush. Glad I have this brush in too, because again, I really like these tiny, precise brushes. They just make doing your eyeshadow so much easier, and I can basically see by looking at these are the two that I don't use that often, but these are the ones that I definitely use much more often. They're the 203 and 205, and yeah, just really like these brushes. They're great, they're affordable, they're really good price. I like the length. They're a little bit shorter, so they're good for travel, but they're not so short. I've talked about this. When brushes are too short and they're in my makeup, my brush holder, they disappear. I know how that feels, being short and getting lost in a crowd. So these are just like the right size, and like I do have some brushes that are actually really long, and I have one that's like a Morphe brush, and it's kind of small like this, so it's good for detail, but I use it for detail, and then I lean into the mirror, and then I jab the end of the brush into the mirror and usually poke myself in the eye. That doesn't happen with these. So yeah, I really, really like these brushes. I think they're well worth it, and again, I'm not sure if they're available anywhere else, but they're available on the Beautylish site, so I would definitely recommend these for anybody, and they're nice and soft. Again, dirty, because I use these every day. Definitely need to wash these, but yeah, favorite brushes. I only have one hair care item to talk about, and I've talked about this actually in my recent buys and buys. This is the Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Heat and UV Protective Primer. This is a hair product that I like because it's like nothing. Let me explain. So I'm not great with using hair products. I don't like using hair products because I hate the idea of like washing my hair, having clean hair, and then putting something back in it that makes it feel dirty. Like that irritates the crap out of me. This doesn't do that. And I feel like this actually helps with like breakage on the end of my hair. Like I feel like my hair is not breaking as much. Now I'm not dyeing my hair as often, like blonde dyeing, so I'm not like bleaching it. So that could be part of the reason too. But yeah, I like this enough that this is kind of one of those items that's, I'm kind of cheating a little bit because technically I got the first bottle at the end of 2019 in a Sephora kit, but I don't think I opened it until 2020. And so, yeah, so that's why it's kind of sneaking in. But anyway, details. I liked it so much that I actually repurchased this and like actually paid money for this. I didn't get it in another kit or points, which I'm kind of annoyed by because I'm pretty sure right after I bought this, it did come in a kit or there was like a point perk or something. I'm like, dang it, I could have got it for a lot cheaper, but anyway, I'm happy to actually have another one of these because, again, for me, if you've watched my videos, I just don't go through hair products other than shampoo and conditioner because I just don't really use them. I have two skincare items to talk about on my favorites, and they're kind of similar. The first one is the Pixi Glow Tonic. Yes, I've been sleeping on this for a while. This has been out for like ever. This was kind of a surprise slow sleeper favorite. I was worried about using this because I thought it might be irritating to my skin. I have oddly sensitive skin. I don't think it's sensitive most of the time, but then certain things cause it to freak out. And things like this is a 5% glycolic acid, and I was just like, it might be a little too intense on my skin. It's not at all. And this was like a slow burn. I had a little mini sample, and I was using it over a few weeks, and it wasn't like right away. Like I didn't really notice like a huge change right away. But I noticed after a few weeks, I was like, my skin just looks a little clearer, a little smoother, a little brighter. And the only thing that I had added that I was using regularly was this. So that was enough to convince me that I'm going to buy full size. So this is actually still, I don't know if you can tell, it's still in the plastic packaging because the next product I want to talk about is why I'm not opening this right away because I don't really want to use them at the same time. My other skincare favorite is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow PHA plus BHA Pore Tightening Toner. So again, kind of a similar type product. I I really don't know about glycolic acid versus BHA. I kind of need to look at, I think they do similar things. They're both kind of like exfoliating type products, but anyway, this is not a full size. I got this as an add-on in my Ipsy, and I'm really glad I bought this. This was something that really intrigued me. Actually, this brand really intrigued me. And again, not a product that I notice a huge difference. I do think it helps. I think it helps my skin a bit clearer. Pore tightening, I don't really know. I don't think anything really tightens your pores. Like, it's just not possible. But it definitely helps feel like, makes my skin feel a bit smoother and fresher. And honestly, this is a favorite because this is just a product I like to use. I really like the smell. It's less watermelon-y and more like the cactus side of it. I don't know, it's just a very fresh smell. The bottle is pleasing. The texture, it's watery. I just sort of like tap a little bit out. It's got a nice little like, it's not like open. It's got like a little dropper thing. I just like tap a little out and just like pat it on my face, and it's an enjoyable experience in my morning. So that's why this is a favorite. Again, maybe not a life-transforming product. Also stupid expensive in terms of product. I think it's more expensive per ounce or per milliliter than the Pixie. I could be wrong on that. I should check. It is expensive though, so it's not something I would buy regularly, I don't think. Unless this came in like a kit or something like that, I would rebuy it. I would purchase the Pixie over this, only because the Pixie is, I think, a hair more affordable. It's still expensive, and Pixie is just more easily accessible for me. I can buy it literally like down the street at the drugstore, so I kind of like the convenience factor. Okay, now we're gonna get into the makeup favorites, and I apologize. This is all kind of redundant a little bit, but they're all favorites, so I'm putting them in. The first favorite is like the most unique item. It's the non-eyeshadow item, and it's the Pure Nata Natural Liquid Liner in the shade Fig. Again, this was another product that just surprised me how much I liked it. I was a little worried about using it because it's a very fine brush, just a little tricky, but the product is just so nice. Lasts really well. Now, it's not waterproof, so if you have really watery eyes, you probably won't like this. Like, if I was wearing contacts still, I would probably hate this because I know my eyes used to water a lot when I wore contacts. But just love the color, love the product. It's pretty good price. It's all natural. Yeah, it just caught me by surprise how much I like this. So that's why that's a favorite. I have two eyeshadow palettes to talk about as favorites. The first one is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. That's probably no surprise to anybody watching this. This is probably the newest product that's in my like whole thing, at least in my favorites, which is kind of tricky. I was thinking about this when I was going through my list, that things that I buy in like November, December kind of get left out of this whole annual favorites and fails because it's generally not enough time for me to use a product. Anyway, kind of just a derailer. Shower thought. So yeah, this palette, really enjoy it. Really happy I got it. Now, this is a palette though, like I'm calling it a favorite, but I only suggest this palette if it's in your like affordability wheelhouse. It's the most expensive palette, I think. Yes, it's the most expensive palette I've bought. Is it worth the price? Like, again, if you're like a student or something, don't buy this freaking thing. Like, there are so many more affordable eyeshadows that are just as good. Do I really enjoy this? Yes. Am I happy I have it? Yes. Do I recommend it? Maybe. That's the answer to that. But is it a favorite? Yes. Like, I'm really enjoying using this. I could use this every day for a year and be happy. Actually, to be honest, if I use this every day for a year, I'd probably still maybe throw in some singles just for a bit of variety. But for the most part, yeah, like I could use this eyeshadow like every day, and it's so easy. They're really smooth. They have good pigment, I find. So there's a lot of like shimmers in this, and I find for me, the shimmers have like depth. So you can build them up. Like if you use your finger or if you apply them wet, they're definitely going to be much more intense. But you can also just use like a light fluffy brush and just like gently sweep it on, and then you get a little bit of like a nice glow, like an everyday natural glow, like if you're a little afraid of being too bling bling. So for that, I do really like this. And again, the mattes are really nice. One thing I want to point out, this shadow right here is kind of weird. It doesn't look all that dark in here, but I find when I put it on my eyes, it definitely looks a little more intense. If you're curious, I'm actually not wearing this on my eyes today, even though it kind of looks like it. This is the Too Faced Natural Lust palette that I have on my eyes. I talked about that in my eyeshadow picks, that it was like I'm using a lot of eyeshadows that are very similar for the month of December. Not that I'm mad about that. The second eyeshadow that is in my favorites is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette. Yes, I've been totally sleeping on this. I'm pretty sure I did in my 2015 summer favorites. This came out in 2015, I want to say. Maybe not. I can't remember now. But anyway, this has been out forever, and I love this. Now this is an eyeshadow palette I can pretty much recommend to anybody and everybody. It's affordable, it's got a nice cool tone and warm tone range. You got a bunch of nice, like, beautiful shimmers. The shimmers are amazing. Really good mattes. I love everything about this palette except for maybe the packaging. The packaging is beautiful, but not practical. But yeah, really, really glad that I bought this. Now this was my last purchase before COVID lockdown, like in March. So I kind of have like weird association with this. I think we're all gonna have like a pre-COVID, post-COVID type memory, or like this is what I did or life was like, or a thing I liked pre-COVID, and then things shift. If you have any sort of major life moment, that's kind of how it works, and I feel like COVID's gonna be like that for a lot of us. Anyway, really, really happy I have this palette. Definitely a fave. If I could categorize favorites, this would definitely be up near the top. Or if I could prioritize or order favorites, this would definitely be near the top. And I have 3 eyeshadow singles that I just couldn't decide, so I decided to put them all in because they're all favorites. The first is this Pure Nada Loose Shadow. It's their Luminous Eye Color in Magic Mauve. I picked this. It was tricky to figure out, like, out of all of the eyeshadows I had from Pure Nada, like, which was a favorite, but I picked this because this caught me by surprise as being a favorite and how much I liked it, particularly because it's a loose shadow. Now, the one thing I will say is the shade is not as deep as what it looks like on their website. I feel like it's much brighter in person. Not that I'm mad, I'm kind of actually glad that's a little bit brighter. Hopefully you can see it there on the back of my hand. It's such a pretty color. I definitely think I will buy this in a full size, and I might buy 1 or 2 more other colors in a full size of their loose shadows because I really, really enjoyed this. It's so pretty. The other single eyeshadow that's a favorite is this. Is it Araceli or Aracelli? I want to say Aracelli because I think that's the Italian way to probably say it. It's a little single eyeshadow that I got from Ipsy in the shade Tequila. This is the shade right there. It's a little bit close up there. That's what it looks like in the pan. And this is a favorite again because it caught me by surprise. I was surprised at how much I liked this. It's actually the wrong eyeshadow. I was supposed to get a different eyeshadow. I think I was supposed to get an IBY shadow, and then this ended up being in the actual bag. But yeah, I was really, really pleasantly surprised. And I feel like this shadow goes really, really well with like a lot of different eye looks. Like I was able to add this into a lot of different eye looks. Hopefully you can see it. It's right there. And yeah, it's just really, really pretty. Just caught me by surprise how much I enjoyed playing with that and using it and incorporating it with eyeshadow palettes. And the third single eyeshadow favorite, and my last favorite in the list, is the NARS single eyeshadow in Himalaya. Again, this was part of my last, I don't know if this was with the BH Cosmetics or if it was earlier than that, but I bought this early this year, pre-COVID, and this is sort of like, I've been on the hunt for a perfect taupe color that I had in my mind that was a taupe that I used to have in high school. This may not actually be it, but this is what is in my mind in terms of what I was actually looking for. So this is, again, a really, really beautiful taupe color. It's their dual intensity shadow, and it's like my perfect taupe. And I don't know how to explain it because I have a lot of taupes and none of them hit the mark, but this one just hits the mark in terms of what I was looking for. I love this. Now I got this at Winter, so I don't know how easily accessible it is, but if you can find this, I definitely recommend picking it up because I think this will work for pretty much anybody and everybody. It's beautiful. Okay, let's get into the fails. So I have 11 fails here. The first one I want to talk about is the Botox procedure that I got. And oh my god, I can't believe that was this year. That feels like a lifetime ago. Again, pre-COVID. And it's a fail because it just didn't work for me. But I knew that going into it that it was like a risk. So I got Botox done on my eyebrows to see if it would help lift. I mean, hopefully you can see it. This eyebrow and this eye are like lower. And you can get Botox that will help lift the eyebrow. It didn't work for me. It didn't work at all. The only thing was really weird was just the fact that I couldn't do this. Like I could not, like I have really mobile eyebrows and I couldn't do it at all, which was so bizarre. Now, I will say though, if you are interested in Botox, I do recommend checking it out. I mean, it's not without its risks, so, you know, buyer beware. Your mileage may vary, so, you know, do your research, be careful. But I definitely think it's not nearly as scary, and it's not nearly as like taboo as it used to be. Like, it's not the end of the world to get a little bit of Botox, like if you want. Now, I think, again, you can go crazy, you can go overboard with this kind of stuff, but if it's something you want to try and you're a little bit scared about, it's actually not nearly as scary as I thought it would be. It was so quick, it was painless, it was just a very like, oh, that's it kind of experience. But yeah, it's a fail for the fact that it just did not work for me, and I have no plans on getting Botox in the near future. Like, I don't really feel like I need it. Don't tell me if you think I do, but I don't think I really need it. There's nothing that I really need it for. There's certain things that I think it's really useful for. So like 11 lines, like if you have 11 lines, it's definitely useful for, I think. It definitely works for that for most people. But yeah, just was a bit of a fail. The next fail, I don't have this anymore. This was the Manna Kadar Glow Shimmer Lotion. This was in my just previous buys and buys. And yeah, it was like, it's supposed to be glowy and it's supposed to be a lotion. Well, it wasn't very moisturizing, and when you blended it in, it just like disappeared. Like whatever if there was a glow, it disappeared. So for that's a fail. Like, I can't recommend that product to anybody. I don't think it's, again, I don't want to offend anybody. If some of these things are like a favorite of yours or you really like, that's fine. Everything in beauty and makeup is very personal. I'm just kind of giving you my perspective on why it just didn't work for me, and that product just did not work for me. The next product that's a fail, I actually don't have anymore either because I used them all up. This is a shampoo and conditioner. It's the Maui Moisture Revive and Hydrate shampoo and conditioner, and this is a fail for me because it didn't do anything. I felt like when I used the shampoo, I had to use another shampoo to actually wash my hair, and then the conditioner, I had to use like another conditioner. Now the conditioner, less of a fail than the shampoo. The conditioner kind of worked, but I mean, I used them all the way up, so that's how I know I'm like, no. And I'm like not picky with shampoo and conditioner. Like, my go-to shampoo is definitely like the Dove generic or even just Pantene. Like, I don't need anything fancy, but that's how non-effective those were. I just really did not like them. The next thing I also don't have because I finished them up was the Neutrogena Naturals Purifying Makeup Removing Wipes. Now, I don't use wipes a whole lot. I do use them, like I have them right here to wipe off swatches, but I'm not a big wipe person. Like, I don't use them on my face very often unless I'm being super lazy. Then I will use a wipe on my face, but I really don't use wipes all that much. These ones were like, they probably were like for cleaner. Like, there was something about them that just more reminded me of like Lysol wipes that you use in your house. Like, I just did not like these at all, and I don't recommend them. Like, if you see them in the store and they're on sale, I got mine at Winners, don't buy them. Pick something else. There's probably other wipes there that are same price. Skip over those ones. Don't buy them. The next product that's on my list is a fail, but I'll be honest, I feel like I haven't given it a fair shot, so I'm saying it's a fail, but I'm gonna try again. This is the Ardell Pro Brow Microfilm Marker in the shade Taupe, and it's one of those like marker brow products, and it's got like 2 prongs. I don't know if you can see that. There we are. It's got like 2 little prongs on it to like do eyebrow hairs. Yeah, I just like, the shade is Taupe, so it's pretty light, and it's actually kind of warm. It's more like a light blonde, not really a taupe color. It just didn't work for me. Like, I couldn't, it was awkward, and nothing showed up, and it was weird. I feel like I need to give it a shot. See if you can even see it on my hand there. Can you see it on my hand there? Like, barely. Like, it's so pale. It's like light blonde. It's not taupe. I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, it was just, and I think it was awkward. I think I've seen other ones like this where they have it on an angle, and I feel like that would be easier than this like straight on. I don't know, like if it's on an angle you can kind of do this. I don't know. It was a product I saw at Winners or Marshalls, and I was like, that seems interesting, let's try it. Especially because I have really crappy brows, so I'm always trying to find like good brow products, because if a brow product can work in my brows, it's a good product. This one, not so much. My next fail is a nail product. This is the Witchcraft Be Strong Protein Hardener, and this just did weird things on my nails. So I found if I used it as like a base coat, my nail polish would like literally peel right off. Sometimes like within an hour, which I don't always mind. Like I used to have that happen a little bit with the Sally Hansen hardener. Like after about a week, like 4 or 5 days, I could definitely like peel my nails, nail polish up, which I kind of find, hi, can I finish filming? Thanks, love. Which I kind of find like convenient, but this would like literally happen within an hour. Also, again, I don't know what I interacted with, but at times, like, this would just go kind of weird. And yeah, I don't know what I used, like, that interacted with this, but this would just, like, go weird and gummy sometimes when I, like, just did normal everyday things, and I don't know why. I have used this as, like, a base coat on my toes, and that seems to work fine, so that's how I'm going to use this up. My next fail is the Briogeo Be Gentle, Be Kind Avocado and Kiwi Mega Moisture Superfood Mask. Mega Moisture Superfood, I don't know what you're talking about, but I feel like this does nothing. I put this into my hair and it like disappears. Like I don't know where it goes, but you know how when you put a mask, I don't know, when I put a mask on, it's like you feel it in your hair, you feel like moisturizing, and then when you rinse your hair out, your hair just feels a little bit softer. I literally, the first time I used this, I was like, did I even put it in my hair? Like I thought I forgot. Like I thought I put it in and then I was like, did I do it or not? Like it just, I don't know, it does nothing. Like, and this is the hair product. I know I talked about my favorite hair product is something that like feels like it does nothing, but that's okay. This is not. Like if I'm putting in a hair mask, I want to actually feel like I've nourished my hair, and this just did nothing for me. Like, I don't know, maybe I got a dud. Maybe this is just like an expired version or something. But yeah, did not like this because it didn't do anything. And the reason why I included that, even though it's a sample, like Briogeo is a fairly named brand, so I know that people really like Briogeo, so I think there's other products in their line that are definitely really good, but that one just didn't do anything for me. My next fail, and I apologize to anybody who really likes this, is the coffee scrub. I hate this. And I don't say that very lightly because I don't say I hate things very often. A lot of times it's like, this just didn't work for me, or I didn't really like it. I hate this. Like I've been trying to use it and I've pledged myself that I will use it 10 times. I've used it about 4 or 5 times. I'm going to try and use it about 10 times, but I don't get it. I don't get it. It's literally like ground up coffee. Like there's no binder or anything. And then when I use it in the shower, it's like I dumped my French press all over the shower. Like it's disgusting. And again, a little side story. Maybe one of the reasons why I dislike this is because when I was in school, we used to have a shared kitchen as a student, like when I did my MBA, and there was one guy that would dump his French press in the sink, but he would never really rinse the sink after, so there'd be like dirty coffee grounds all over the sink. And for some reason that always irritated the crap out of me. So that's what this, I don't know. Again, maybe I have a personal beef with coffee grinds everywhere. But yeah, like the other thing I thought about was maybe I can get like a coconut oil or something and blend this in with that, and maybe I will enjoy this more. Now, I will admit that I'm not a big physical exfoliator either. Like I don't even have any other physical exfoliators in terms of like scrubs, like these kind of scrubs, like the ones that have a binder in them. But yeah, it like, and like the ingredients, ground coffee, like it literally is just coffee. What? I don't get it, and I don't like it. But like I said, I'm gonna try use it a little bit more. If you do really like this, you know, feel free to mention it down below, because I can't recommend this though. I would never buy this for anybody either. I mean, it looks really cool. I do like the smell. There we go. One positive. I do like the smell because I love the smell of coffee. And the one I got was like the vanilla version, I think. So definitely like, although I don't really smell any vanilla, but definitely like that's the one thing I liked about it. But yeah, keep that. That was one of the products that when I started using it, I'm like, this is going on the 2020 fail. It's like, fail. Instant fail. And the last product, I hummed and hawed about putting this on the fails, but I decided to put it on the fails because, again, like the botox, it's a fail for me. And this is the Pure Nata Translucent Sheer Matte Pressed Mineral Sheer Matte Pressed Mineral Foundation. And this was just a fail for me. I went back and forth. I tried using this a lot. I mean, I can even see my use in this. and just not a product for me. Again, I kind of want to try it a bit more next summer, maybe when I'm a bit more prone to being somewhat oilier, but definitely won't use this in the winter because it's way too drying. But yeah, that's the problem. It was way too drying for me. And then when I actually like went to the website, it was like good for oily skin. I was like, oh, I don't have oily skin. Why did I buy this again? So, I mean, the other thing though, it is like the packaging is really beautiful. The product is really nice. I did mention in my Pure Nata review that it's very similar to like the Pure Mineral Foundation, which makes sense because I think they're both mineral products, and I don't like that foundation either, but I know a lot of people love it. So that's why like I hummed and hawed about putting this on my fails, but I'm putting this on the fails because it is a fail. It is a fail for me. So, and I was a little disappointed because I really did want to like this. And then I have a handful of products that are on my like fine list, and I just wanted to mention them because they were okay, but neither favorite or fail. So I have 2 primers here. The first one is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. So I did a whole video on this. You can see why I was like, about this. Do I think it's worth trying? Sure. Does it work for me? Not really. The other primer is this Guerlain L'Or. It's the one with the little gold flecks in it. Again, I got this as a 100-point perk. Even though I didn't pay for this, I did spend points on it, so I did want to talk about this as something I bought in 2020 because I could use my points on something else. It's okay. I would never buy this again, though. I would never use points on it again. It feels nice. It's kind of moisturizing, but the way people used to fawn about this as being transformative, like you would think you would have to have this. You're like, makeup life will be transformed. No. Is it nice? Yes. Is it life transforming? No. It's just a primer. This almost made it onto the favorites, but again, I just didn't use it enough to really have a good feeling for it. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. This is the Year of the Pig one. Even though it's from last year, I did buy it this year. And it is a really nice product. I do enjoy it. And I do understand why the Becca highlighters are so popular because it's a really nice formula. Glowy without being like overly glowy. You can see it on my hand. It's a little bit there on my hand. It's one of those, like, that's just a very quick light swatch, and I feel like you can shear these out and you can build them up. So yeah, I'm happy that I bought this, and I did get a good deal on it. Did I need to buy this giant one? Like, if I were ever to buy a Becca highlighter again, I definitely would look towards buying the minis because you're never going to finish a highlighter, let's be honest. I have a number of blushes here that are on the fine. So the first one is this Dallas Mini. Now this almost went into a fail actually because I was a little disappointed in this. Like, I don't like the smell. Nobody ever mentioned that this has like a really perfumey smell. So if you don't like scented products, you won't like the smell of this. And I didn't realize that this is like a new shade, that it's reformulated. It's not the Dallas that everybody used to always talk about. And it was just a little orangey, like just a little bit more orangey than I had hoped it would be. I mean, it's not bad. Try and swatch it here. It's hard to swatch a blush. Yeah, like really hard to swatch a blush. But the more I used it, the more I was like, okay, I kind of like it. And I kind of got used to the shade. I think it's just one of those things where like expectation versus reality didn't meet up. Hopefully you can see that there. It's underneath the highlighter. So yeah, that's why that's just kind of like a meh, because it's not what I thought it was. The next item that's in the fine category is the Jouer Blush Duo. Gotta be careful with this because it's kind of damaged. Again, I almost went in the favorites, but I felt like I hadn't used it enough to really say, yeah, it's for sure a favorite. But it's pretty darn close. Like, I am very happy with this. I think I'd like to purchase, they have couple other shades in this, like they're in the regular line. I think this is supposed to be a limited edition. How did I swatch that? There we go. Hopefully you can see that. That's it swatched right there. Terrible swatching. I do really enjoy this, but again, I don't know if it's a favorite. I mean, they're nice. They're very nice. But I'm not like blown away. I mean, it's just blush, right? Another product in a similar vein, and I'm just going to talk about these together because they're the same brand, is the Charlotte Tilbury product. So I do have the Pillow Talk Cheek to Chic Blush and the Pillow Talk Luxury Eye Palette. Again, these are stupid expensive. Is this nice? Yes. Do I like it? Yes. Do I recommend it? Maybe. Like, if it's not in your price range, don't freaking buy this. Now, I did see somebody post something on Reddit that they were able to dupe this with a ColourPop palette, I think. So I'm sure this is dupable. They're not unique shades in any sense. And then the blush, again, Like, it's just a blush. Is it a pretty blush? Sure. I'm pretty sure I've got the intense shade, but it doesn't say intense shade on the back. Because when I look at the pictures online, this definitely seems like the deeper one, I think, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it is really pretty. Is it worth it though? Maybe not. Like, if I could go back in time, I don't know if I would buy the blush. I probably would still buy this, but I don't know if I would buy the blush. But I just really wanted to try this because, again, a lot of people talk about them. And it is a nice product, but again, that's why it's in the fine category. And the second to last item I want to talk about in the fine category is this palette from Viseart. Again, the only reason why this is not in the favorites is I felt like I didn't use this enough. Like, I used this so long ago that I almost don't really remember it, which is odd because I do really remember the BH Cosmetics one and I used that before. But the BH Cosmetics one was, again, when I used it, I was sort of blown away by how much I liked it. Whereas this, it's just like, it's very nice. And this, again, I do recommend the Viseart shadows. I want to buy some more. I love the size of these, like the compact size. Like, they have a ton of new palettes that are small, though I think they're getting a little like AVH ColourPop territory. Like, guys, you got to slow it down a little. You're kind of eroding your brand quality, I would say, by releasing so much. But yeah, I definitely want to buy more Viseart palettes. I think they're just nice. They're eyeshadows that are easy to wear for every person. Like, even though they do have some colors, like this one's like a really bright color, it's still easy to wear for like an everyday person. So I think that's why I like these shadows. I also do like that they're small and compact because, like, again, you're never going to use up all these eyeshadows, especially for like me and you keep buying eyeshadow. I need to stop. But yeah, like, I just felt like I hadn't used it enough that I felt confident in saying it was a favorite. That's the only reason why that wasn't on the favorites list. And then the last product I want to talk about in this video is this Consonance Ultra Firming Organic Eye Cream. The lettering's all gone wonky. I don't know if you can see. The lettering's all gone kind of wonky, I think, from using like different oils and then using this. Looks a bit weird. Anyway, this is like the firming, it's an organic eye cream, it's firming. They do have an ultra moisturizing one. I feel like my under eyes are better right now than they have been in a long time. However, there's also another factor on that, and that's allergies. I have come to the conclusion that a lot of my under eye problems were heavily related to allergies. Two in particular, cats. So I haven't had a cat in the house since February, and I think now, like, again, through cleaning over time, you know, cat hair and dander gets everywhere. Like, I still find cat hair everywhere. That's affected my eyes. Like, I didn't realize how allergic I was to cats until recently, and realizing like how nice it is to have a pet that I'm not allergic to, that I don't want to rip my eyeballs out. The other thing too is I do have seasonal allergies, and this time of year really don't have allergies. Like, the only thing that's really bothering me is like dust in the house. Like, when I clean, I go through like a sneezing fit. But other than that, I really don't have like severe allergies right now, and that also seems to affect my under eyes, like the puffiness and the wrinkliness. So I think it's a little from column A, a little from column B. Again, I'm not sure this is a favorite. I kind of still want to buy their moisturizing one. I want to like powers combine them and like have the firming and the moisturizing. I might do that. I might just buy both, even though it's kind of expensive. It'd be like $100 for eye cream. But it might be worth it because that's like my problem spot is my under eyes. I've talked about it a million times. Like, my under eyes are just like the thing that I hate the most. Not the most, but the thing that drives me crazy because it can make me look really old and really tired really easily because they can be really crepey and wrinkly. That's it. That is my 2020 favorites and fails with a few meh products thrown in for good measure. I hope you liked this video. I'm really curious to know if you had a favorite or fail product for this year, because I'd be interested in maybe picking it up if it was a favorite and definitely avoiding it if it was a fail. If you did like this video, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my tiny little channel in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.